Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ashok Kumar from Government Women Engineering College Ajmer. This is lecture 4 on wave propagation series, and in this lecture 4 we are going to discuss about characteristics parameters of ionospheric propagation, and the characteristics parameters that we have discussed in lecture 4 are the critical frequency, maximum visible frequency, virtual height and escape distance. And also we are going to discuss about electrical properties as well as wave propagation through the ionospheric region that we have addressed the contents in this lecture 4 of wave propagation series. The contents of this series is prepared with the help of this reference book. First, we are going to discuss about electrical properties of the ionosphere, and as we have discussed that the ionosphere has free mobile charges in the form of ions and electrons. Ionosphere, in fact, is a collection of electrons, ion, and natural neutral molecules. Such media are generally referred to as a plasma. So we can say that in an ionospheric region, if there is something happening in the ionospheric region, that we have uh, referred in terms of plasma, and it is the collection of electrons, ion, and natural molecules. So the ionospheric propagation essentially is the propagation of the electromagnetic waves in a plasma. So we can say ionospheric propagation is the propagation of the EM waves in a plasma. When an electric field is impressed upon the plasma, the mobile charge start with moving with the velocity, suppose v in terms of meter per second, constituting the conduction current. So this is the phenomena or principle to understand the electrical properties of the ionosphere. So first we have applied the electric field, and this electric field impressed on the plasma. If we assume that the electric field is oscillating at high frequency, the conduction current is primarily due to motion of the electrons with a velocity v. Since the ions are much heavier and therefore are less mobile, so we can consider or assume that the electrons are moving with the velocity of v, but ions are assumed stationary. While moving, the electrons collide with the natural molecules and the ions, and there is a momentum transfer from electrons to molecules, and ions will be occur when we have applied the electric field upon the plasma. So this is occur, or this causes deceleration of the electrons which are accelerated by the applied field. So simply we can say the electron accelerated by the applied field. In that case, the ions we can consider in a stationary, and these electrons collide with the natural molecules and ions that exist in a ionospheric region, and there is a momentum transfer from the electrons to molecules and ions. So we can measure this in terms of effect dielectric constant. As you can see, for a given angular frequency, suppose omega is the angular frequency, if v is the velocity less than omega, the conductivity of the ionosphere is small, but effective dielectric constant is epsilon r equal to nearly equal to 1 minus n e square upon m epsilon naught omega square, which is equal to 1 minus omega p square upon omega square, equal to 1 minus 81 n by f square. So this is the important expression that we have get from after implementing these assumptions, and the detailed analysis about this derivation you can consider these books, or some other books may also you can consider. In this equation 20, the last part of the equation is obtained by substituting the value of epsilon naught 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12 parameter, and the value of E 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 C for electronic charge, and M is the mass of electronics, and in this equation f represent the frequency in terms of hertz, and omega we have represented by 2 pi f. Then after we are getting this expression, here one more frequency that we have defined omega p, and this is known as the plasma frequency that we have discussed later. So ignoring the conductivity of the ionosphere, the propagation constant of the wave, and it is can be written k is equal to omega root of mu naught epsilon r, which is equal to k naught root of epsilon r, where k naught is the propagation constant in a vacuum. So first parameter is the effective dielectric constant, second parameter is the propagation constant, the third parameter may be the group velocity, and this group velocity we have measured in terms of Vg, and which is equal to, which is equal to V naught square equal to Vp into Vg, and this group velocity of a wave is defined as the velocity of the propagation of the envelope, and you can easily calculate it by using this expression. In equation 20, we can conclude that the relative dielectric constant of the ionospheric depends on the ratio of the plasma frequency omega p and the wave frequency omega. So we can say that if the omega less than omega p, I mean the plasma frequency is greater than the angular frequency, then epsilon r is negative. Here you can see from this equation 20 you will get. Hence, the propagation constant is purely imaginary. Under this condition, the plane wave becomes purely evanescent. When omega is equal to omega p, the permittivity epsilon r equal to 0. When we are putting omega p is equal to omega, in that case we are getting epsilon r equal to 0. For omega greater than omega p, and where omega p is the angular plasma uh, frequency, the relative dielectric constant is less than unity. So this is the important analysis you will get from the analysis of the electrical properties of the ionosphere, and this omega p, which is equal to root of n e square upon epsilon naught into m. So this we have measured is the plasma angular frequency, and which is represented by omega p square upon omega square. Here you can get. So we can say that this condition is satisfied in that the case the relative dielectric constant is less than the unity. Then further we are going to discuss about the wave propagation through the ionosphere, and here you can see the figure 10, and in this figure 10 you can see that the ray path through a plane stratified ionosphere. Here you can see these are the multiple layers of ionosphere, and this is the age of ionosphere you can consider. Let us assume that ionosphere is lossless and has a relative permeability of the unity and can be modeled as a plane stratified media. As you can see, the ionosphere is visualized as a layered medium with different dielectric constant. These are the different dielectric constant values as you can see in different layer. मान लीजिए first, second, third and so on. So different layers having the different dielectric constant. Here you can see when the wave impinge upon the edge of the ionosphere at angle theta naught, this wave is refracted from this layer and makes an angle uh, theta 1 from the normal. Here you can see. So by considering the famous rule known as the Snell law, we can identify the wave path by using this expression root of epsilon r naught sine theta naught root of epsilon r1 sine theta 1. So we have applied for the n number of layers by using expression where theta naught is the angle of incident with respect to normal and theta 1 is the angle of refraction at the lower edge of the ionosphere. As you can see, this is the lower edge of ionosphere. At the next interface, as you can see, this is the next interface between layers having dielectric constant epsilon r1 and epsilon r2. The angle of incident is theta 1 and angle of refraction is theta 2. Here you can see theta 1, theta 2, and so on. For the nth के लिए, this is the angle of incident theta n minus 1, and this is the angle of refraction which is known as a theta n. At the lower edge of ionosphere, the electron density is 0, and hence epsilon r naught equal to 1 we have considered. Therefore, the equation 22 representing Snell law by reducing it, sin theta naught equal to root of epsilon r n sine of theta n. The relative dielectric constant is the function of electron density, and as the electromagnetic wave deeper into the ionospheric region, it passes through a region of higher n into a region of lower n. Here you can see this is the region of lower n, and it is passes through the higher region of n. Since the higher values of n corresponds to lower epsilon r for omega greater than omega p, the wave travel from the region of higher into a region with a lower relative permittivity for a given angle of incident. As we have assumed that theta naught is equal to theta I, if n increases to level such that the angle of refraction theta is equal to 90 degree, then the wave becomes horizontal. Under this condition, we can reduce this equation 23, sin theta naught we are putting theta phi, so sin theta I equal to root of epsilon rn, and we are putting normal value theta of n equal to 90 degree, then we are getting value of 1, and the wave becomes horizontal. Let the dielectric constant of the nth layers be epsilon rn equal to epsilon r. Substituting the value of epsilon r from equation 20, we are getting sin of theta equal to root of 1 minus 81 by f square. So here you can see this is the value of epsilon r, which is equal to 1 minus, so we are putting epsilon r equal to epsilon rn. Then we can get using equation 24, we are putting root of epsilon r equal to sin theta of phi, then we are getting sin theta equal to root of 1 minus 81 n by f square. If the angle of incidence is greater than the theta I, the wave returns to the earth. So this is the important condition. So we can say then the any ray is incident on a different layer of atmosphere. If this condition is satisfied, in that case the wave returns from the ionosphere to the receiver or on the earth when the wave travel transmitting by the transmitting antenna. So this is the important condition. Further, we can understood the some important parameter that is known as the critical frequency. So considering an EM waves launched vertically into the ionosphere having the maximum electric density n, substituting theta I equal to 0 in equation 25, here you can see we are putting theta of I equal to 0. The highest frequency that get reflected, FCR, is the critical frequency we have measured, which is equal to root of 81 n. So this is the important expression from which we can calculate the critical frequency, and this is the highest frequency that deflected from the ionospheric region. The critical frequency is the highest frequency of vertically launched EM waves that can be reflected from the ionosphere having a certain maximum electron density. For example, if the highest electron density in ionosphere is 10 to the power 12 per meter cube, then the critical frequency is 9 megahertz. So this is the example. You can consider calculate the value of FCR, critical frequency, by using expression 26. Further, we are going to discuss about maximum usable frequency. For any angle of incidence, the highest frequency that can be reflected from the ionosphere will be greater than the critical frequency. The highest frequency that gets reflected by an ionosphere for a given value of angle of incidence, say theta m, is known as the maximum usable frequency, and that we have represented by f MUF. So substituting theta I is equal to theta m and F MUF in equation 25. Here you can see this is equation 25. We are getting sin theta m is equal to this expression, and we are putting the value of ATN n equal to FC, I mean critical square of the critical frequency, then we are getting the expression 28. So this can be written, this expression 28 can be written, which is equal to in this form, and 1 minus sin square theta equal to cos square theta. So we can say that the maximum usable frequency can be represented in terms of critical frequency as well as the maximum angle, and this is secant, it is called as a secant law. Further we are going to discuss about the virtual height, and you can understand the virtual height from the figure 11, and this is the propagation path in the ionospheric and the depreciation of virtual height. Here you can see this is the wave that is reflected from the ionosphere and get received at the surface of the earth, and this is we have defined as the critical frequency as we have discussed. Let the wave enter the ionospheric at point A and travel a curved path A, B and C before it emerge out of the ionosphere. If the incident and the reflected rays are extended, as you can see, this is the incident and this is the reflected, and they meet at a point D, as you can see in this figure. The virtual height from the ground to the point is known as the virtual height. So here you can see from the surface of the earth to the point D, height is known as the virtual height, which is higher than the lower edge of a ionosphere. So this is the lower edge of ionosphere, and this is known as the virtual height. So simply we can say that the virtual height is the height that is reached by short pulses of energy which has same time delay as the original wave. Virtual height of the layer is always greater than the actual height of the layer. Further, we can understand the escape distance, and escape distance is another important parameter in ionosphere. Assume that the ionosphere can be modeled as a flat reflecting surface at a height h. As you can see, this is a height h known as the virtual height on the from the surface of the flat earth. Let theta m be the angle of incidence of a wave of frequency f MUF which get reflected from the ionosphere. If the angle of incidence is greater than theta m, the wave is reflected back by the ionosphere that we have discussed in the during the analysis of maximum usable frequency. For theta I greater than theta m, the equation 25 is classified for lower value of n which occurs at height less than height. For launch angle theta I less than theta m, the ionosphere cannot be reflect the wave back. As you can see in this figure, this is the ray path for different angle of incidence, illustrating the escape distance. So escape distance, here you can see this is the transmitter, this is the earth surface, and this is the receiver. So here you can see when theta I greater than theta m, or we can say theta I is equal to theta m. Here you can see in that case the wave follow the path from the edge of the ionosphere which is A, B, C, and in that case the wave is received or the ray is received at the point R at the receiver. In that case, this is the distance from the transmitter to receiver is known as the escape distance. Here you can see if theta I less than theta m, in that case we cannot achieve the ray from the ionosphere at the receiver. It means the wave cannot be reflected back by the ionosphere. Let the wave launched at theta is equal to theta m reach the surface of the earth at r at a distance of d skip from the transmitter. The d skip is known as the escape distance. In the region of radius less than d escape, it is not possible to establish a communication links by the waves reflected from the ionosphere. So we can say that the escape distance is the minimum distance through which we can uh, we can get the transmitted ray from the transmitter to the receiver. So it is known as the shortest distance, and here you can see this is. You can calculate the escape distance by using this figure 12. So considering the triangle DOT, DOT. So we can write cos square theta m is the maximum angle, which is equal to DO upon DT का square. DO is known as the virtual height h, and DT equal to h plus d skip by 2. So this is the distance d skip and by 2, and this is of OR distance is also d skip by 2. So h upon root of h square plus d skip by 2 का square का whole square, which we can expressed 1 upon 1 plus d skip by 2h का square. So from equation 30, here you can see this is equation 30 and this is equation 32. We get d skip is equal to 2h root of m fum upon fcr का square minus 1. So this is the important analysis or important expression for calculating the escape distance when the virtual height, maximum usable frequency and critical frequencies are given. So we have discussed in this lecture 4 of a propagation series about the electrical parameters of the ionosphere, in which we are going to discuss about the effective dielectric constant as well as wave number. Further, we have discussed about the radio wave propagation from the ionospheric region, and then further we have analyzed the parameter associated with the ionospheric propagation, in which we have discussed about mainly the critical frequency, virtual height, maximum usual frequency, escape distance, and critical angles. That parameters we have discussed in this lecture 4 of wave propagation series. Thank you everyone for watching this lecture. I hope this lecture is beneficial for you.